So today, our objective and our agenda for our presentation is pretty much to identify some of the main ICAP features in OK Career Guide. We also want to recognize some of ICAP's best practices and locate support for educators. And here you have our OK Career Guide team. You have myself, you have Latoya Miller, AJ Kroll, and of course, Nathan Brubaker. We work with OK Career Guide and of course, the Kuder Galaxy program. We also are really looking forward to helping you guys with virtual training. All you have to do is just send in a request. Either one of us can come and help with that. We also have I want to introduce you to this one resource that we do use. It's very valuable to you guys, and that is the Kuder Client Engagement. I can't say enough about how much they love helping members of the OK Career Guide program. They're always here, and they're available to you from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. These are the people who basically built the system, and they know it inside and out. They're your go-to resource when you have about 25 students looking at you and there's something not working right, and especially if you can't reach one of us. So make sure you copy that number down and keep it by your computer. You never know when an emergency may arise.
Sorry, I don't know why I lost control of my microphone. But anyways, yeah, I totally agree with Toya there. There's been times that I've been in a training and a teacher had a great question that I wasn't able to answer. So we just called the 877 number there and they totally helped us out for sure. So definitely encourage you to use that resource. So for those of you that are new to the system, and especially those of you who have had ICAP kind of dumped in your lap this year or recently, just an FYI, OK Career Guide is a robust career awareness planning platform, and it's backed up by decades of research on career and vocational awareness and theory and practice. So it was really designed to help all Oklahomans build a plan for their future and help address the workforce skills gap and meet the needs of ICAP graduation requirements. So research lays out this really simple but effective process for career development. Essentially we want to go in and we want to learn a little bit about ourselves, do that discovery phase, take some assessments, answer some questions, ask some questions about ourselves, what's important to us, and really, lay some groundwork to build upon with research. And so we want to take those results and launch into exploration of different occupations, career pathways, different types of colleges, instructional programs, college majors that might be most appropriate. And once we do this research, we can start to build a plan, right? So now I know about myself. I know about the job that I'm interested. I know what kind of skills are involved, what kind of credentials, certifications, education is required. So I can build that plan for the education in the system and also start to connect that to the world of work. We want to build a plan to meet those goals and then ultimately find a job. And that, not surprisingly, follows the ICAP process pretty well. I heard our friends from the regions mention ICAP requirements earlier, so we won't go too in depth. But just to kind of provide that summary, we've got the 5 requirements for ICAP here on the page. The first one being that we have to take college interest and inventory, career and college interest and inventory surveys. The students are required to do at least one of those a year. OK Career Guide has 3. So whether you want to have students do all 3 each year or stagger that out, that's up to you. And we can help you brainstorm through that implementation process. Next, once we've done that rich research and self-reflection, we want to start to write those post-secondary and workforce goals. And keeping in mind that those goals need to be beyond high school, right? They need to be focused on life beyond high school. So past the 9th grade, not such a great ICAP goal. Maybe touring a welding program or touring a nursing program or a college visit, right? Those are great goals. Maybe a job shadow, some type of thing, working on a mentorship. Those are great goals to have for students that are in this process. Next, we want to build that intentional sequence of courses. We do that inside the system through the My Ed plans. And the goal there is to really just lay out that framework for how we're going to accomplish our goals, right? It's essentially a program of study. It's customizable by each school, and we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. That 4th one's kind of an organic thing, right? academic progress happens pretty naturally. We're tracking our grades, we're tracking our progress through, through high school. Are we meeting our goals? Are we earning any credentials or certificates from a tech center? That sort of a thing. That fifth one, service learning or work-based learning, no one's had any questions about that. It's been clear as mud, so we'll just move right on past it. just to touch on it, it's one that has to be done once in the high school career. Of course, the more opportunities we give students to get their hands on the real life jobs is always better, because they get to make up those decisions and learn what really does work for them, and equally important, what doesn't work for them. But steps 1 through 4 there are done annually. That fifth one is done once in the high school career, and there's ways to track and monitor all that through OK Career Guide. Now, many of you may have seen this slide a handful of times, but especially for those of you that are new to the system, this kind of lays out the framework for how students navigate through OK Career Guide. At the top in those icons, those top bar of icons, those are the career fields, the 6 career fields. So think big job families. Underneath there, we've got the 16 national career clusters. Those are the ones we're usually a little bit more familiar with. And these colors and icons are pervasive throughout the system, right? So students are going to see these over and over again as they're exploring interests and exploring jobs and career pathways. So just to familiarize yourself. And I also put it up to kind of brag on one of the schools in the east part of the state, Tahlequah, who's done an amazing job of taking ICAP and moving it beyond just a graduation requirement and turning it into a core part of the high school career. So that way, it's not just a conversation that's one and done, a box that gets checked, but they've actually taken these icons at the top and they've placed them all over the school, right? So that way, when students are walking into the classroom, they're getting that relevance. They automatically know why they're taking these courses and how it relates to their interest. They even took it a step further and put it on their enrollment sheet. So again, at the enrollment process, they're having that conversation again, and it's not just one and done. Now, I do want to brag on Moore Public Schools again. They got a shout out from the state superintendent, Joy Hoffmeister. They even got an award recently at the Career Tech Summer Conference, simply because they've done such an incredible job helping their students plan with these career pathways. They've gone through and aligned their course catalog with career pathways. And again, you see these icons and these colors that we saw on the previous screen. These show up all over OK Career Guide. And so the whole goal is that it's an ongoing conversation. Now, what I love about this setup, and the counselor there, Micah, she like kicked me. She's like, don't tell them it's easy, because this took months of work, right? But this collaborative process has taken out so much of the guesswork for students, right? I can click on any one of these links and I can know exactly which courses I need to take, what kind of careers, what kind of pathways it lines up with. And it's just, again, about having that ongoing conversation so that it's always relevant to the students.
Okay, so what makes OK Career Guide such a powerful system is that we know it works. States all over the nation use this system provided by Kuder, and they've collected a lot of data on its performance. We know that students tend to have better retention and higher GPAs when their interests and their plans line up. On top of that, we know that 90% of the students with a well-defined plan transition to their post-secondary choice, and that 60% of those students never change. If we want to tackle the 1.7 trillion debt and crisis in America, especially with college loans and financing, it's going to be through meaningful career development. Did it change? There it goes. Sorry, had a little delay there. And so the best ICAP and career planning starts long before high school. We know that. Research tells us that students begin to solidify their career interest as early as elementary school. That begins with your kindergartners and your basic pre-Kers telling you they want to be a firefighter or they want to be a policeman. And that's why it's so important to do this training and to start working with them well into those years. The Oklahoma Department of Career Tech has provided a tool for a lifelong approach to career awareness and development. One of the tools we have is Galaxy for pre-K through fifth grades. It guides students through career awareness in their surrounding world, and we'll discuss that more towards the end. We also have the 6th through 12th grade to explore self and careers and build a plan with our OK Career Guide system. And then, of course, they can use the OK Career Guide system to also do post-secondary planning with the management of transitions from high school to college or to work or to the military and for their career changes. OK Career Guide launched in August of 2015 with a few tech centers around the state. And now we have well over 300,000 users across the entire state, taking almost three-fourths of a million of assessments in the OK Career Guide system. So that's pretty good. The good thing about that is you're never too far from someone who has experience using our system. Additionally, the site is built with a responsive design, so it works on all levels of technology. Students can get the entire OK Career Guide experience from their cell phone, an iPad, or laptop computer, which is more important now than ever, since, as we know, students are never disconnected from their technology. But what good is career planning that doesn't connect students to local needs in the industry? Connect to Business is a core part of the OK Career Guide system. It allows students to learn who and what is just down the street from them. Whenever I see this slide, I often think about the movie The Sandlot and how the kids think the neighbor is just this mean, crazy person who has this dog who wants to eat them. And I think that's how kids think about the building next door, the one they've never walked into, the employer they've never heard. With OK Career Guide, students are able to at least get to know that, hey, you know, that metal building down the street actually is the aeronautics system, or it's a Dulles, or it's one of our many corporations who actually are looking for students. They get to learn through the OK Career Guide Connect to Business portion that they actually are a valued part of these companies and they want them. So there's no need to be afraid. There's no need to have this exaggerated story in their head about what exists in that sheet metal building down the street, or what that these aeronautic programs are not looking for them. They realize that they are the jewel. They are what is desired by our economy. So Connect to Business offers students a chance to learn about more of our local businesses, as well as work opportunities tied to their interests and assessments. Some of the things that are featured in Connect to Business are apprenticeships, internships, job shadows, and full or part-time work. Educators can also use this to find businesses that are interested in performing or participating in career fairs. Some of our companies also like to provide guest speakers or business tools. I myself have used the system. I often use some of our local car dealerships provided many speakers to come speak to our kids and tell them what kind of opportunities they have for them. This is also another way to promote your advisory committee members and to build a network of support for your school and your students. We're constantly growing our businesses in Connect to Business, and here are just a few samples of the industries looking to connect with your students. We're nearly at 100 employers and would be glad to feature any businesses you're working with on the system. Anything that we can provide to our students to offer more opportunities, apprenticeships, we are glad to have them. So feel free to contact us or even have the businesses connect with us.
Awesome. Let's pause. Carrie, are there any questions that you've had pop up in the chat?
Yes, we got a question from Gayla Jackson. She's asking, you were talking about the icons earlier when you were speaking, and she's asking if there's a PDF version available of those icons.
Yes, thanks for asking the question. We do have a number of resources available both on our Career Tech website as well as our CTU website, which we will talk briefly about today and then cover more next week as well. But yes, those icons are available, downloadable, and you have access to them for sure. Any other questions?
So can Gayla just email one of us to get links to those, AJ? That would be a suggestion.
Yeah, she can reach out to us for sure. All right. So jumping into the system, this is the first page that students see when they log into the system. And I like to break it down kind of in segments here. So you have on the left side, this left column navigation, and that's really where students go to do all the work inside the system. They can use it to take assessments, explore the results, explore colleges, review soft skills training and content. They can start planning for work. It's also where they can begin to build those resumes, cover letters, fill out their profile, as well as do the My Goals and the Ed Plan and the ICAP features. It all lives there on the left side. It's kind of that navigation panel. The middle of the page is kind of like that meat and potatoes of the system. This is where your content pops up. We've got some helpful text here at the top and some links to the different parts of the system. And then right here in the center is where we see those 3 assessments that I mentioned earlier. So we have the Kuder Career Interest Assessment. So this is your career interest, right? What are you interested in doing? What kind of tasks and skills are most appealing to you? So that's where we pull away from, what are the most likely career pathways and occupations that are going to line up with you. The middle one, the skills confidence, that's the one that talks about what do you think you would be good at doing today. So what do you already have a lot of confidence in? And this is one that's fun to see these two compared over the years, maybe in 8th grade and then again in 10th or 11th grade, where a student might have a lot of interest in health sciences, but hasn't taken any classes or any experience in that area. So their confidence is low. And then you get them in those classes and they get to maybe do a job shadow or a mentorship opportunity. And we see that confidence grow and start to match up with their interests. So that's a fun one to watch. And then this one over here on the right is the work values. So these are those intangible things in the workplace that bring you back to your job, right? Whether it's creativity or independence, it's security, financial incentive, challenge, coworkers, those types of things. This is one that students love to explore. And I always have the teachers think that money is always going to be the top intangible factor, but it's seldom the number one. It's usually 2, 3, or 4. Coworkers is always the top one across the state. It almost doesn't matter where I'm at. They're wanting to work with their buddies for sure. On the right-hand side, we have the My Next Steps, and that's simply these internal nudges and pushes that are to drive students into the different parts of the system to really get this complete career awareness approach. So they can click on those links and they can click the checkbox if they've completed it, and it fills up that gas tank and gets them covered there. Now, I do want to call attention up here to the top right corner where it says Welcome Little. I'm signed in as Little Rumble, but it'll have your name up there. That little drop down will give you access to the account settings. And there's a couple things I want to point out that show up in the account settings. One, that's where students can change their school. So if they've transferred between schools that use OKCareerGuide, they can change their school and bring all their information over. It's also where they can update their expected level of education. So if when they very first started this, they said that they were only going to be a high school graduate, and then they're bummed out that the results tell them they only have card dealer and pet groomer, as job occupations, then they can update that the education level there. But what I really want to call attention to is that it allows students to invite parents to the system. So parents can create an account, which is incredibly important in this ICAP process. They're supposed to be stakeholders at the table. And so this gives a really quick, easy capabilities to just invite the parent. It either shoots them an email or a text message, whichever the student knows. And let's be honest, the high school students probably only know their parent's cell phone. But what I love about it is it cuts out the middleman. You're no longer, waiting on little Johnny or little Sally to take home that piece of paper that invites them to the system, and they forgot about it, and 7 months have passed, and they pull it out and know what's this. No, it sends the message directly to the parent and invites them to the system. So I love that aspect of it, and it gives parents the ability to sign off on things, review materials, and contribute to the process. So once students have gone in, and again, we're thinking through the lens of ICAP, once students have gone in and they've either taken all 3 assessments or you've decided to stagger them out, however they've done it, but they've taken an assessment and now we're exploring our results. So on this page, we're looking at a specific occupation. This one happens to be a graphic designer. And I like to think of it kind of like a Wikipedia page. We get this broad overview. I see what pathway it's tied into, a quick bullet points on the type of job duties. I get that information on what type of money, what kind of education do I need? Is it a growing industry? And turns out this one is. And I can, of course, watch a quick video on it. Next, we can flip over and we can get some ideas on the type of working conditions. So what kind of specific task would I be doing during that job, as well as the next one, which lines it up to how a graphic designer would have answered the surveys that the students just took. So it really kind of drives home the relevance of these occupations based on everything the student has just learned about themselves. The Education and Experience tab allows them to explore college majors and instructional programs at tech centers, community colleges, and these links take them directly to the major pages and allow them to view which colleges or schools in Oklahoma offer these majors and programs. Allows me to go in and check out the school, review the admission process, check out the costs, maybe view the demographics of the student body. It gives me links and direct access to the college as well. So it's a great resource for them to explore. The salary and outlook, let's be honest, that's the first thing your students are going to go look at, and they can get an idea of what kind of money they can make with this career in Oklahoma, and as well as throughout the whole U.S., so they can view surrounding states and other states, but it also has regional information, so I can see how much this job might make in Tulsa versus Oklahoma City versus Lawton, and kind of explore that and use that to set, do some reality checking and set some expectations. Now that we've done this rich amount of exploration, we can go ahead and start creating our goals, right? And so our goals allow us to track what we want to accomplish. So I've got listed here some goals for Rumble. He wants to tour some programs. He wants to complete, I guess these are all tours, but he wants to maybe apply for an internship or apply for a nursing program somewhere. And then once we go into the goal setting process, we can name it, we can set the current goal type, whether it's a high school goal or something we want to complete after high school. We can also set the goal category, whether it's an academic goal, a career goal, maybe it's a personal goal that they're trying to accomplish. And then we can break it down into the steps, right? So if it can be a super complicated goal, where they've got to first reach out to a recruiter, set up a tour, go on the tour, fill out the application, get the acceptance, we can create a very complicated one, or it can be pretty simple. I will give you a pro tip here, especially when you're thinking about your ICAP reporting. You're going to want to have your students create very detailed goal names, because that's going to be the first thing that shows up on those goal reports. So here I've got Little Rumble has a 10th grade goal to tour the graphic design program at Kaimishi Tech. So I have a very detailed, specific, I know when it's happening, I know what I'm trying to accomplish, I can see the career pathway that it's attached to. So just a little pro tip for you there. So that third component of ICAP would be the intentional sequence of courses. And so inside the system, we do that through the MyEd plans. And this is really allowing your students to create that framework or that path forward to accomplish their goals, and monitor, how closely the classes align with their interests they just learned about themselves. So this is a customizable feature. It can be done specific to your school site, and we'd be happy to help you out with that. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you want to process that together. You can also reach out to the client engagement folks to customize this for your school site. Once a student has completed their courses, their ed plan, I always encourage them to fill it out as much as they can with the stuff that they know they're going to take, right? If you're a freshman, you're going to take English 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead and start putting those kinds of things in there. For Rumble, he discovered he's really interested in performing arts. So he's including things like drama and leadership, as well as desktop publishing, because those are things that are relevant to him. Once that's completed, you really have two approaches. You can have your students save these MyEd plans, and they can just update them every year, but that won't give you an opportunity as an administrator to sign off on them. You can run reports on them, and you can demonstrate that your students are working on these, but you won't be able to report that you've actually gone in and cleared them off and said, good job, I've approved of this. In order to do that, and this is how AJ would do it if I was back in the classroom, I would have my students submit the plan each year. And again, you can see I've gone in with a very descriptive name. This is my 9th grade graphic design plan. I submit that plan. I would go in and I would approve it. I know just at a set time of the year, maybe right before or after the enrollment process, students have submitted all their plans. Then I would go in as my administrator. I would sign off on it. You can see here my school signature is on there. My parent signature is on there as well. And then I'd be able to run that report that shows that it's been completed. The following year, when the student's ready to start this plan again, some of you have probably experienced this, the plan is locked, and so they're unable to edit it. So then the advice is to simply duplicate it or make a copy and change the name to 10th grade plan, right? And now we're allowed to fill out some more of those holes in the schedule. Maybe my interests have changed. Maybe I took that theater class and I didn't like it so much, so I need to plan for something else. So this is a chance for students to show that progress. I do want to highlight our job readiness features that I don't think get talked about enough, which is this amazing resume builder program that really walks students through step by step on how to complete a resume and cover letter process cover letter for their job search or their work-based learning search. And so rather than giving kids, for me, it was a blank Word document and a printed letter, and it was like, here, good luck. This walks me through step by step on what I need to include, gives me hints and nudges on what to include inside my resume. I can add or remove sections as I want. And then once I've got it completed, I can choose what format I want it, right? Because we want to teach our kids to customize these resumes based on the opportunities they're looking for, right? So maybe if I'm a high school student, I should go with more of a functional resume because I don't have a ton of work experience. And maybe if I'm going for, a fun internship at a nonprofit, I might go with a more contemporary or basic feel, as opposed to if I was looking for an opportunity with a Fortune 500 company, I'd certainly want elegant or professional. So it gives students a chance to play around with those results. And then this all builds into the student's e-profile. So this is basically their online presence. It's kind of what LinkedIn was supposed to be before it became Facebook for business, right? So it gives me a chance to put my best foot forward and represent myself in a very clean and natural way with my resume. If I have work samples, if I've built something for a CTSO organization I'm really proud of, I could put that in there. If I've earned a credential, that sort of thing. So again, just something to explore more. Here's one of those examples. Toya was talking about connected business earlier. Here's an example of an internship that's available in Oklahoma City. From the student view, I can see that there is, what occupations it's related to. I can see where it's located, what type of opportunities I would get if I was there, how to apply for it, that sort of thing. So just a preview on what that looks like. Now, the ICAP feature is new since last fall. And this gives schools a chance to track and customize what ICAP components they want their students to see inside the system, right? So if you're a school that's tracking a specific component for your ICAP implementation plan, then this is where you can customize it. And we have lots of videos and training on how to do that. And of course, we'd be glad to train you one-on-one on how to do that. But essentially, these little cards or sections turn green or white based on whether or not a student has completed it. Right now, we're looking at the student view. And I can see that up here at the top, my assessments have all been completed. So my card is green, but on the work-based learning section, I haven't completed all the things. Rumble's very, very ambitious. He's completed 5 different work-based learning activities. So you can customize that to make it look however you want it to look. The students can then run a report, or as well as an administrator can run a report and get a one-pager on everything that a student has done inside the system. I see here my assessments. I get a timestamp of when they were completed. I get my goals. So basically anything that a school chooses to put on that report is what will show up here. So inside the admin side of the system, the ADMS, there's lots of different types of reporting that's available. And so just to touch on the type of reports that we have here, we have these activity progress reports, which are essentially spreadsheets of who has done, has not done, maybe who started it but didn't finish, that type of information, so that you can track those students down or demonstrate completion to your administration or the State Department. Over here, the core reports, you can get some really detailed, specific information and some really targeted information. Let's say you're trying to, you're working on your Carl Perkins grant and you're trying to target non-trad students. This would allow you to identify all students that are non-trad for a specific cluster or pathway and get that information there. We also have this new ICAP report, which we'll touch briefly on, that allows you to pull the student information on those ICAP cards, goals, reporting, and some other specific information. So just a few of those examples. Here's an example of the one-page summary. So this is a great tool for your enrollment nights, for IEP meetings, for parent-teacher conferences. I can see all the work that a student has done in here. I mentioned earlier comparing that skills and confidence surveys, and here I can see how those compare. The work values is down here. I can also run a top 3 report, which is great because I can see everyone in the system and how strongly they rated on these different career clusters here. So I can look down here and see for Jaleesa, for instance, her human services, they were pretty different the first and second time she took them, as same with education and training and health sciences. And even though her interest was different, we can see that they rank the same on all 3. So we know that human services and education and training is a really strong suit for her, which is probably why she's an awesome person down at Caddo, Iowa. Over here, we have the aggregate report. which gives us, again, that top level view of what are my most popular clusters in the system and just some different demographic information as well. And then the ICAP reporting features allow us to run, allow us to change these little check boxes, and I can run a report on those specific green and white sections, or I could run a report on multiple things. So here we're looking at academic goals, and I am looking at everybody in the 9th grade, or I guess this is any grade, who has completed a career goal. And so I get all their names here. I can run that to a spreadsheet or a PDF, and I can file that away, or I can know that I need to go check on the people who haven't completed those types of things. And then once again, want to show that we have the ICAP report that allows students to see just what they've done inside the system. And I can see at the bottom here as well that administrators and parents can also sign off on that and keep track of all the work that students are doing with ICAP. Before we jump to the next slide, are there any additional questions, Carrie?
Yes, we have several questions. So I'm going to start with the most recent ones and scroll back up. Lori Hicks is asking, can I still get reports for last year's freshmen?
Yes, you can run reports by grade level and graduation year, absolutely.
Okay. Chris Williams, does my ed plan need to be submitted for approval to the counselor 2 times a year? What is easiest and best?
Well, that is a good question. In my opinion, again, if AJ was back in the classroom, I would have students submit their education plan once a year and sign off on it, and that kind of locks it. And then when students go into the next year, they could just copy it and do it again. That's how I'd approach it. And by the way, any of these questions, if you need follow-up, feel free to reach out to Toya, Nate, or myself, and we'd be glad to help out.
Yes, or don't forget the office hours tomorrow. There'll be fewer people, and it's more of an open conversation. So if you join office hours from 10 to 11 or 1 to 2, you'll have access to all of these speakers. Couple more, AJ. Couple of questions on accreditation, and I know that's not your topic right now, but I know you've been through the training, and it's something, if you don't have an answer right this minute, we might be able to do some research and answer tomorrow. But one is, scroll up just a little bit, has the Oklahoma SDE accreditation section identified what types of documents they will need to show completion of the accreditation process? And also with that, is there a suggestion on how many goals? Oh wait, no, that's related to Career Guide. Have an answer on the accreditation question, AJ?
I have some thoughts, but my best advice would be to stay tuned till next week when we have Petra Woodard on from the State Department of Education, and she could give you the perfect answer for that question. I'll say it that way.
Good call, AJ. And then the other one is there a suggestion on how many goals should be added per year?
Right. There's probably, that's another good question for Petra in terms of what's required for accreditation. I think a goal, like 1 goal per year, is a great benchmark for your students and gives them something to aim for. I don't know that they have to have a goal per year to meet ICAP requirements. That is going to be a good Petra question. But just in terms of like good career planning, at least 1 goal a year.
Okay. Another question from Sherry Wilson. Can you invite the parents in a group batch from emails on WinGauge?
Can you invite the parents? No, sorry, that it was like processing. No, the parents do need to create their own account because they get a special code from when the student invites them.
Okay. And one other question, and I don't know if time allows, and Nathan will be speaking next week, but one of the questions was, can you do a quick rundown on how to get started using Galaxy?
We will talk a little bit about Galaxy here in actually just a few minutes from Toya, and so we'll get a quick snapshot on it. But yeah, Nate and Toya are going to be your go-to folks on that.
Okay, that's all I have right now, AJ. Oh wait, one more popped up. Is there still no way to run a report of student passwords?
There is no way to access student passwords, unfortunately. There is a way to reset passwords, and we can run username reports, but not passwords. That's why it's always our strong encouragement to use a standardized approach, which would be, use a formula. All usernames are first name, last name, birth year, and all passwords are, school mascot and birth year or whatever. Standardized approach is always going to alleviate most of those problems. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks. That's the end of the list for now.
Thank you, Carrie. So just to give out another resource that you can use when you're working with OKCareerGuide, and just in case you don't want to actually get in your own account, we have what we call the sample account. And as you can see, you can basically go to okcareerguide.org and you can type in for the username sample student, and the password will also be sample student. And then you want to make sure that in your fake student account to be sure to change your school site to, of course, what's highlighted, which is the ODCTE training site. This is a good account to also use if you want to train students or educators on how to get into an account without exposing your own personal information. So, I mean, it's here for you. If you want to take out your phones and take a quick snapshot of it, be my guest. This was made here just for you guys to get into, to be able to play, sort of like the sandbox idea, and just get used to using these tools before you're actually in the hot seat. And trust me, sometimes the seat is truly hot. Some of the other things I want to point out is that we have and worked with our team and with Kuder to develop a few different resources. Of course, we will get further into depth into this next week, but just so you know, we do have these resources available to you and we will mail them out. We have posters, as you can also see behind AJ, there's a few of them posted for him. You have also, and we can use these posters to post around the school. And mainly these are good to keep the OK Career Guide and the career planning speech or conversation going with your students, to keep it always before them, because out of sight is truly out of mind. You can also go to YouTube and search OK Career Guide for the student and educator training videos and our webinars. We have some of the ones that we've planned and we've done in the past, and we also have some do-it-yourself videos in case you just need some quick tidbits. You don't need a whole phone call. You just need maybe 2 seconds to learn how to log in, or 2 seconds to learn how to switch over a grade level. We have those videos available for you too. We also have lots of curriculum and assignments out there to facilitate career awareness and to ensure ICAP completion, because we know that is the name of the game in Oklahoma. We want to make sure our students have time to do that career planning and those exploration activities. And of course, the best approach to meaningful and comprehensive development is to start as early as possible. This is just a view of our Kuder Galaxy program. Oklahoma Department of Career Tech now provides the Galaxy, which is for pre-K through 5th grade. It's an online career awareness system for all students in grades pre-K through 5. Galaxy makes learning about the world work fun by igniting some playful spirits of young learners through a series of engaging videos, games, and activities. Some of the questions that came about were, what does the Galaxy system look like on the inside? And just what do we need to know about it? Well, as you can see, this is a rundown from the pre-K through 5 curriculum for the for Kuder Galaxy. I do both of them, sorry. And if you look, the Galaxy system uses the John Holland's research on vocational awareness. Galaxy asks developmentally appropriate questions such as, what is work? What do people do at work? What do people do for work, and what tools and skills do people need to use at work? And these are all questions that young students are looking for and wanting answers to. And so Galaxy has developed this program to help young learners get answers to their questions. I just also want to mention that each theme has a set of objectives accomplished through explorations. So some of the things that they do are they do games and activities. Grade levels are not identified from the student perspective to support differentiation. So you don't have to worry about one student looking on another student's computer and saying, oh my God, you're a 4th grader doing 5th grader work, or oh my God, you're a 5th grader doing kindergarten work. It's very anonymous in that tone. So students don't know what each grade level is being worked on by their co-partners, just in case you have mixed grade levels being integrated. In the student exploration portion of it, students can explore the space theme system either individually, or the teacher can lead the activities. So you can do group or individual, which in elementary is amazing. You never know which one you want to use. You're going to have some students who are advanced learners, then you're going to have some students who need to be together in a group to learn. The lessons begin with a short introduction, followed by an engaging video, and then a related game or an activity. And it also allows students to earn badges to complete paper-based assignments as needed or as the teacher deems fit. Inside, I'm sorry, I'm clicking and my clicker's getting a little bit ahead of me, so I'm in a speed mode. Sorry about that. What we're looking at right now is actually a fourth grade level of the Mission Control Center, and the planets at the top correlate with John Holland's 6 vocational school codes. The student just completed the social planet and has earned their badge right here in this part. They also create and complete I statements that align with class and academic objectives. If the school is also working on, say, pride, or they have a pause theme, then the school can actually create I statements in there that actually correlate, and every grade level can be working on the school's deemed objective plan or I statements. It's totally up to you and the administrative team that creates the system or implements the system into the school, and that's one of the beauties of Kuder Galaxy. It can be individualized by campus. It is not one universal thing. Also, sorry about that. The Galaxy program is completely free. And I will tell you that the go-to Galaxy guru is definitely Nathan Brubaker. I do help, and I can answer some questions, and I can also teach some lessons, but Nathan is basically our go-to guy. And if you want or have questions for Nathan, you can contact him at nathan.brubaker@careertech.ok.gov. It only took me 5 minutes to memorize that, y'all. Only 5. Carrie, are there any questions for us?
I don't have any new questions at this point.
And
Awesome.
I would just interject real quick. For those of you who are looking to be signed up for the Kuder Galaxy, you can also sign up. We have Kuder Galaxy webinar trainings that are offered on our website at OKCareerTech.org under the Career and Academic Connections website. You can definitely sign up for there, and you'll learn the basics of how to get into Kuder Galaxy. We do need an administrator. We will need a counselor, and so after you get in, Nate can help you get your classroom set up. You can also have a chance to go through each grade level if you want to in the training. He'll give you passwords. So if you're looking for how to make that Kuder Galaxy connection, I will definitely tell you that signing up for our Kuder Galaxy training on our website is the best way. Thank you, Nate. I'm sorry. Thank you, AJ. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, there's our contact information again, and just in case you're trying to copy down Nate's email or any of our emails, there's your chance to grab a screenshot. And of course, this PowerPoint's available to you, and most of us will be available tomorrow during the office hours. Want to highlight again the client engagement team and how helpful they are. So this is a chance to grab a screenshot of that phone number again. It's also at the bottom of almost every OK Career Guide page. If you just click the help button, you'll get this information. You can contact them and reach out to them. And then finally, just as Toya was mentioning, we do have webinars available. So we have monthly webinars that are going to be focused on Galaxy and getting you up started with that, on brand new teachers, educators, counselors, administrators to OK Career Guides. We'll have brand new monthly trainings for that, as well as targeted, shortened, like 20-minute targeted specific, like component specific trainings for OK Career Guide as well. So that is at that super fun link. I thought it would be easier to do it that way as opposed to our Career Tech link, which is 74 letters long. But anyways, they're at the top, the bit.ly link, and then you can also search for us on YouTube and watch any of those videos Latoya was mentioning, or Facebook. You can reach out to us there. Any final questions, Carrie? I think that's it from us.